as the liberals try to claim, but guilt by partnership.
Really?
Yes.
By participation.
Oh yeah, there's tremendous amount of evidence. I mean, if you want me to go ahead and review some of these things.
Yes, and also, we would love to know, you know, we're sitting out here in the middle of what people say nowhere. The controversial things, if you were on the radio for 3 weeks, you had a lot of questions from people.
Yes.
Am I right?
That's right.
Okay. We just want to get educated, right? And get our people educated, our viewers.
That's right. We need to let them know the realities and the facts. Senator Obama, he minimizes his association with many of the dubious characters, specifically Rashid Khalidi. Rashid Khalidi is a PLO operative. He's a professor at university. In fact, when I go to speak at universities, I expose what Rashid Khalidi does. He was a professor. Now, this relationship is not somebody who lived down the street from him. Obama says that his daughters went to the same school as Rashid Khalidi. But there are many statements publicly. You can find them in the library in Chicago, in which Obama himself complimented Khalidi's wife on her cooking, and says that Khalidi was a catalyst in helping him change his mind about political issues. What is that talking about? About the Israeli-Palestinian issues. Khalidi, there was also funding issues, real material and money, and aiding and abetting and all these things. Obama lied about the extent of his relationship with Khalidi. There is the Woods Fund. That's a major issue that needs to be brought up, which Obama co-chaired with the Weather Underground, you know, that whole thing with Bill Ayers. He approved grants totaling of $70,000 in 2000 and 2001 to Khalidi's organization. Now, Obama, remember, he was a co-chair on that fund. And he approved giving $70,000 to Khalidi when Khalidi was a PLO operative at a time when the PLO was listed as a terror organization. Of course, America today does not recognize the PLO as a terror organization because they changed their name to the PA, the Palestinian Authority. But at that time, that was a terror organization legally, and what Obama was doing was illegal. That's aiding and abetting terrorism, terror causes, you know, education for terror causes.
You were directly into all this stuff in Chicago, weren't you?
I was there. I was in Chicago. You have to understand something about Chicago. Chicago was the spark and the hotbed of the beginning of the revolutionary ideologies that came from the Palestinians and the Islamists. In fact, my mentor, Jamal Saeed, he runs a mosque in Bridgeview, Illinois, till today, raised funds under the IAP, the Islamic Association of Palestine, in which he raised funds aiding and abetting Hamas. Real financing terrorism. Now, you have to understand that Barack Hussein Obama had in his Islamic liaison, you know, for community relationships, when he builds his team for the campaigning. His Muslim liaison, Misbahi, is a friend with Jamal Saeed, my mentor. In fact, it is said Jamal Saeed is the colleague of Abdullah Azzam, the godfather of Al-Qaeda, and the mentor of Osama bin Laden. Now, this is nothing small. This connectivity really stems, and, you know, guilt by association. You can say that's guilt by association. Rashid Khalidi, how could you say guilt by association when there's financing involved? How could you say guilt by association when he was funded to go to Harvard by the Black Panther, Al-Mansour, who was an advisor to Al-Walid, who is the Prince Al-Walid of Saudi Arabia? How could you say guilt by association when he was on the same team with Bill Ayers? And the argument by the liberals, they would say, well, you know, Bill Ayers bombed the Pentagon, he was 8 years old. We're not talking about when he bombed the Pentagon. We're talking about later on, as Bill Ayers became active and, you know, created the, what's that notorious...
Weather Underground.
The Weather Underground, but also got involved with this... fraud elections, this organization.
Oh, Acorn.
The Acorn thing, which Barack Obama was very much involved with. He was, you know, he collaborated with Acorn on several issues. And Acorn does his job, and he helps them as well. There's a relationship between Obama and Acorn. Barack Obama also never mentioned about his most extensive executive experience from 1995 to 1999. He led the education foundation called the Chicago Annenberg Challenge, the CAC, and remained on the board until 2001. The group poured more than 100 million into the hands of community organizers and radical education activists. Some of that money went for Palestinian causes. In fact, here's a testimony by prominent Palestinians in America, in the Chicago area, talking about Obama proudly. Listen to this. Ali Abu Naimeh, he was a co-founder of online publication, The Electronic Intifada. Now this guy's involved with Intifada, basically, terror causes. And the author of One Country. This is what he said. This is his own words. I knew Barack Obama for many years as my state senator, which he used to attend events in the Palestinian community in Chicago. He would attend the events where they made fundraising. All the time he attended these events, many events. He said, this is his own words. I remember personally introducing him on stage in 1999 when we had a major community fundraiser for the community center in the Dheisheh refugee camp. The Dheisheh refugee camp is a hotbed for bomb making.
Where at?
Palestinians.
Okay.
Yeah. This is Palestinian terrorism.
Okay.
In the occupied West Bank. And what's just one example of how Barack Obama used to be very comfortable speaking up for and being associated with Palestinian rights and opposing the Israeli occupation. And then he stands in front of the Jewish community and says he's pro-Israel, and the Jewish community believes him.
That is a problem.
Yeah, it's... there's so much to talk about this, man.
I'm just an old dumb sheep herder. But as I listen to this web being woven, this was not just a by chance, hap chance, or anything else. It was a very clever, devised scheme to where we're at today. Is that a good sheep herder's opinion?
Yes, this is a collaboration of many to put Barack Hussein Obama. Muammar Gaddafi, I wish we can show the clip on YouTube. It's you can show it on the TV. Muammar Gaddafi and what he was saying about Barack Hussein Obama. He was calling for the whole Muslim world to pray for Barack Hussein Obama, the Muslim, who is going to be appointed in the White House.
He said that?
That's right. That's the words of Muammar Gaddafi. I can show you the clips. I can show you clips with Barack Obama himself criticizing the book of Leviticus, criticizing the Bible, that it's a manuscript that cannot be used at all in our country. He will hold hands with the Muslims. I can show you clips where he was saying if an Arab American family is arrested, how would he would defend them. He wants to close down Guantanamo Bay. He wants to remove our nuclear buildup. Can you imagine America without nuclear weapons? It makes us vulnerable to the enemy. We become at par with other countries to fight with, in which we could be invaded in the future. I could go on and on and on. There is just too much to talk about on the show. This is probably the most dangerous situation that we would ever been. In other words, Islam could not defeat us by destroying the Twin Towers, but they were able to defeat us by sneaking in their man.
That's very obvious.
Yeah, you have also Pastor Wright. Do we talk about Pastor Wright with him being 20 years in a church there, then he's declaring that he was a Christian? Look, I come from a Muslim background. I know the testimonies of ex-Muslims. The first thing an ex-Muslim will do is denounce Islam. They will denounce Islam as a false religion, as not a true religion of God, and they will give allegiance to Jesus and the Bible. I'm yet to hear Barack Hussein Obama denounce Islam. You'll never hear it. You'll never hear him say, I changed my mind, Muhammad is not a prophet of God. On the contrary, there was interviews by the New York Times with Barack Hussein Obama, and the interviewer clearly stated, he says, Barack Obama recites the call to the Muslim prayer eloquently in the Arabic language, in the classical Arabic language. Now, I know how to recite the call to the prayer. Maybe I can do that for your audience. Would you like me to do it?
Please.
Well, it starts like this. This is what Barack Obama did in front of the reporter. He said, and it's a singing fashion. It goes like this. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah is great, Allah is great. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So repeating, Allah is great, Allah is great. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I declare there is no God but Allah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I declare there is no God, there is no prophet. I declare that Muhammad is the prophet of Allah. And that's clearly eloquent classical Arabic, which means he definitely went to Muslim school, Muslim studies, he definitely speaks Arabic language eloquently. This is why the Muslim world loves him. This is why even Hamas advocates